Hello everyone, I am back with a brand new video, and if you could not tell from my hat, or by the title of this video, we're doing a conspiracy video. With me today I have Tally. Not Tiger this time, but Tally. This is the love bug of the house. Anyway, I brought my clipboard this time, and this time I am not on a drunken rant. So let's see how well I, talk to the camera this time. Okay, my first part of conspiracies is the fact that humans have a tendency to do pattern recognition. Pattern recognition is one of the main things that caused humanity to survive during the harsh winters when we were just evolving cognitive awareness. It helped us recognize the patterns in the stars, the patterns of the seasons, all of those different things. And eventually that trait became so strong that we learned how to connect the dots that weren't there. Like patterns in the sky that look like things in our everyday life. So we must assume that those must be those things in the sky. And that's where I believe conspiracy theories come from, is that inherent trait of pattern recognition. We want to see patterns even if there are no patterns to be had. My second point was we want to find conspiracy theories because we feel superior and excited when we find something that other people do not know about. For example, take someone who just found aliens in the desert. Everyone knows that stereotypical, I was abducted by aliens, and I don't have proof, but I know that this is true. If you've ever talked to one of those people, they feel superior and they're overexcited over the information that they have, and they want to tell other people about it because they want to be able to say, oh, I was right, see, look, this was me. But that's one big reason why people love conspiracies, is it gives them that excitement. How I keep my creativity and excitement for that kind of stuff down, so personally, I try to keep myself as objective as possible. So, since I know that there's a part of my brain that just wants that creativity, I listen to SCP files. Secure, Contain, Protect. It's a great thing that it isn't actually real, but it has great lore. It sounds like it could be real, and I let all of my creativity out on that. I think of scenarios where these monsters or items were released in public and how that would affect society. And that's how I get my crazy conspiracy nut out, and I then look at real conspiracies with an objective lens, since I've already got that crazy part of my brain worked out. Okay, some conspiracies are actually based in reality, and or they have little sprinkles of facts laid in with it. Take Bigfoot, for example. Bigfoot could possibly have been real. I do not think that he's real, mainly because we all have cameras on us now, HD cameras, stuff that you can pick up the whiskers on my cat's hair on his, on her face. But now that everyone has these cameras, no one has picked up any pictures, legitimate pictures of Bigfoot. Now that everyone has cameras, we would have found something by now. So that's my thing about Bigfoot, but, it sounds like it could be real, because he could just be a branch of human evolution or apes that just branched off and stayed in its own little area, and no one ever messed with it. And Bigfoot is one of the biggest theories, and he is even an SCP file. But he's a perfect example of some crazy ideas that have little bits of fact peppered in there. You know, he could be a missing link from an evolutionary chain. It Bigfoot's a big thing, but I don't have a lot of opinion on him. But yeah, there are theories that have little bits sprinkled in, like Men in Black. There are cases of Men in Black showing up and talking to people, telling them you don't talk about this anymore. People have received emails saying that you don't need to be looking into this anymore, and then the next day the email is erased. And you know, that it sounds sketchy, but it also sounds like something that a highly secretive government operation could do. It's, you know, little bits of fact in there, little bits of wrong. All right, here are some theories I think might be true. The Yeti. The Yeti, much like Bigfoot, has a lot of possibility to be true, but unlike my problem with Bigfoot, Yetis stay up in mountaintops where blizzards happen, snow-ins happen. You would have to know your way around the terrain. You would have to know what caves are and what areas to sleep in. You would have to know how to hunt. And an ape, just like a bear, moving into a colder area, like the grizzly bear turning into a polar bear, it could have been a gorilla or a Bigfoot that found that area and evolved to its environment, and that's how the Yeti could exist. Okay, now there is something I have to do. There is no way to not talk about conspiracy theories without smoking. Smoking what? I'd leave it up to you. Alright, the next theory that I think that could possibly be true is Loch Ness. Loch Ness could just be a plesiosaur that was trapped inside of a cave or blocked off in a lake or a little passage in Loch Ness. We would have to do intense sonar and almost have to drag out everything that's in it, but to actually know for sure. But Loch Ness seems like it could be a very possible thing. There are several sightings of it. And one big problem with conspiracy theories is a lot of them start with one person seeing something and telling a story, and then it begins with a game of telephone. One person tells another, tells another, tells another, and then everyone has a different version of it, and everyone has a general idea until all the details of it get changed. But there are certain possibilities of what could be in Loch Ness. Nessie could be real. I would have to see evidence for it being real, or I would have to see some evidence saying that it is impossible for a plesiosaur to be living in that environment. And the multiverse is the last conspiracy theory that I believe might have some validity to it. Somewhat relating to time travel, if someone were to travel backwards in time and change something, then would their future change, or would they create a new timeline or universe where that event was changed? There are several different multiverse theories. My personal one is choice theory. The idea that every choice that you decide changes the outcome of your reality. For instance, this little alien right here. I did have a Lapras from Pokemon sitting right there, but due to the video I'm doing, I thought an alien might be a better thing to have in the background. There's a reality where the Lapras, who's hiding right there, is sitting up there. That's multiverse theory. Every choice that you make breaks off. And to me, that sounds like it could possibly be real. Like, that would give a purpose for life. Your purpose is to make choices so you can birth more universes. That would be a pretty objective meaning in life, and if that was my meaning, I would be okay with that. If that was my purpose on this planet, I'd be perfectly fine with that. At least it's an actual purpose that makes sense. That wasn't that rant wasn't even on my board, but rambling. Okay. These are the theories I consider completely absurd that people still consider. Flat earthers. Why do you people still exist? How can you think this planet is flat? We've literally sent spaceships with that Red Bull dude who jumped out of like just the ridge of outer space. You could see the curvature of the Earth. I've heard people say that you can see the curvature in a plane, but the actual science behind that isn't true. A plane doesn't reach the altitude that you would need to see the planet or the curvature of the planet, but that's irrelevant. We've looked into outer space and we've seen other planets. That famous tweet that Elon Musk made to the Flat Earth Society. Hey, why is planet Earth flat and not Mars? Why is Mars round? And the Flat Earth literally responded with, hey, Elon, unlike Earth, Mars has been proven to be round. So these people literally believe that all the other planets are round, except ours. We're just a fucking disc floating through space. Or some flat earthers believe space is rotating around us. We're apparently that dome in Orville. And I've just recently started watching Orville. That's a great show. I suggest watching it. Alright. Just flat earthers are just straight up absurd. They're... I don't even know how any of you exist on this planet. The moon landing hoax. This one, I can actually see why people would think it's false. I have seen some very convincing videos of people showing little bits of evidence. This is why that little X that's carved in, or not X, but the plus that's carved into the camera to give depth perception. Sometimes the people go over that, and that's been explained, that's been debunked, because if you point something, that plus, at something white or very bright, it'll give off the illusion of going over that line because it elapses over all of the other space around it. It's an optical illusion. The wires attached to them. There were some videotapes taped on Earth because some of the tapes could not make it to the return from, space shuttle. Some of them did, some of them couldn't. So some of the footage is faked. Some footage is actually real. We've been to the moon. You can use a telescope and look at the fucking moon and see the evidence of man being there. I remember when I was a kid and my uncle had a super powered telescope and we looked at it, and I can't remember seeing the flag or footsteps or anything like that, but the moon, it was... another thing is people who say that the moon is a hologram or anything like that, and this is a complete tangent. This has nothing to do with the moon landing being a hoax. It is not a hoax. We have been to the moon. But I actually know someone who thinks that the moon is a hologram made by the government. They need this hat more than I do. But I'll stay off the rants and stay on the ganja. God damn it! I told you guys what was in it. Fuck. All right. This last one that I believe is completely absurd is one that a lot of people in society, including Jim Carrey, actually believe. Vaccines cause autism. Vaccines are nothing more than a dead cell of the virus with a tiny bit of artificial mercury to make sure that it doesn't infect too much and your immune system can target it and actually make sure that the dead cell doesn't re-jump itself. There is no ingredient inside of vaccines that could possibly cause autism. Mercury might cause Mad Hatter's disease, which is funny about this, but that causes hallucinations and death. It doesn't cause autism. It causes brain damage. Autism can't be caused by vaccines. That's just not how vaccines work. And it's pretty sad to see intelligent people like Jim Carrey and people on the street. I've walked by people actually protesting vaccines. It's ridiculous. This theory has to be even more absurd than flat Earth. It can't be possible. There are well-behaved kids in the world. Alright, theories that turned out to be true. This goes back to the fact that some theories are based in truth, and this is why people feel so much excitement and superiority over it, because it might actually be true. One of them being round Earth. Round Earth was a conspiracy theory like 200 or 300 years ago, depending on how far you go back or what records you're going by. People were burned at the stake and called heretics for believing that the earth was flat. Or round, not flat. I forget the famous man who was burned at the stake for it, but yeah, round earth was a conspiracy theory at one point. That's proven true. This one hits a little closer home for Americans. The government spying on its civilians. Snowden needs to be allowed back into America. He did America a service by showing that the Obama administration had boosted more spying on its civilians. He's the one that showed that we are being watched through Facebook, through Twitter, through your phone, through the camera that I'm recording on now. They spy on us through those. And for the longest time, whenever anyone would sit there with their tinfoil hats on and scream, "The government's watching you! The government knows what you're doing!" They were seen as crazy conspiracy nuts. And then it turned out, holy shit, the government is actually spying on us. That's a conspiracy theory that really, it just blew my mind when I found out about it. Because I was one of those people like, the government wouldn't do that. Why would the government spy on us? What could they possibly get from that? And then it turned, oh yeah, it's for your safety. No, that you're trying to create Orwell. You're trying to make it so that no one has any more privacy. Bye, Tally. She knows what's up, because I'm all out of points. So, yeah, I thought I'd make a tinfoil hat for this video, and I thought I would give this topic a shot, because I've been hearing a lot about conspiracy theories lately, and I am going to be honest, one small reason that this is my tangent, my end of the video tangent, but a little bit of this is about Alex Jones, because he is a conspiracy nut, and some of his conspiracies have led to people committing violence. And I believe that we don't need to curtail the conspiracy theories. We need to curtail the people who are just going batshit crazy with it. Alex was going a bit crazy with it, but he didn't get any warning about it. He didn't get any, sort of like how Jimmy Dore puts it. There was no trial. There was no evidence placed forward. It was just, we don't like what you're saying, so we're not going to host you anymore. I'm going to try to avoid talking about Alex Jones stuff, because I've been bombarding a lot of people talking about that. But yeah, I would love to hear your guys' conspiracy theories, which ones I should look into, and any more video ideas. You know, I'd love to talk back and forth with you guys in the comments. Stay crazy.